Look, I just saw Creed 3. You guys know, I do my review as soon as I come home. I just saw Creed 3. Okay, my throat is still hurting from holding back the tears of emotion and passion. You want to talk about having the spirit of the Rocky movies. Oh my God. Creed 3, okay, the acting, Jonathan Majors is Jonathan Majors. For me, he's like the best actor in the world. Like this guy, he's the best up and coming actor in the world. He's amazing. But what I want to say is Michael B. Jordan wasn't half stepping. Okay, so some good acting. The fighting scenes, there's a fighting scene in particular that is probably the best boxing scene that I've seen in all of boxing movies. And I want to be sure of that because that's big to say, but probably not. Okay, it's not because you try to make boxing movies try to overdo the punches and stuff like that to make things very exciting. So there's been a lot of crappy boxing scenes, including the Rocky franchise, that totally didn't make sense, like Rocky 3. Speaking of which, it's funny. Creed has a way of still kind of living through the Rocky franchise. You see these elements that they hint to that you can relate to, certain Rockies, okay? With this being Creed 3, you can feel the Rocky 3 in it, okay? And we'll talk about those elements if I ever do a spoiler review. You guys let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do a spoiler review. I want to say, personally, as a boxing channel in the boxing business, making friends in the boxing business, I was so proud of friends of mine who were in the movie. People like Todd Grisham. Love you, boy. I saw you, Todd Grisham. I saw you. Terrence Crawford. It was just beautiful to see. Jose Benavidez. Beautiful acting. He really shocked me on how well he acted. Beautiful acting from Jose, because I don't know how many acting classes he took to prepare for this movie, or he's a natural or something, because he nailed it. He did well. I just love how boxing's back. Boxing is back. Boxing is back. Okay, to Creed, thank you, Creed. Because I know what the Rocky franchise did for boxing. Creed is doing the same thing. You see DAZN and Showtime, you see certain referees and stuff like that. If you know boxing, you see certain guys. You're like, certain people featured in the movie. Beautiful. Movies and video games. So when you got Creed and Undisputed video game, just boxing is coming back. Just full-fledged coming back. I want to say this too. On my ride home, I asked my son, I said, Creed franchise or Rocky? And let's just go Creed 1 through 3. Rocky 1 through 3, which one's better? And my son said, that's not a fair question. And I said, why? He said, because, Dad, you grew up with Rocky. It impacts you differently. I grew up with Creed. And I'm like, you're right. He said, so for me, Creed, easily. I'm like, I hear you. It's just great that Creed is able to touch on those emotions for my son, for this generation, the way Rocky did for me. But I'm going to tell you this. I relate to Creed more. Creed, my father passed away before I was born. I've always had this, I want to fill his shoes. He was an entrepreneur. I want to finish what he started. All the stories I've heard of my father, I have that. Creed's mother reminds me of my mother 100%. They act so much. Claire Huxtable and my mom. Everybody always compared my mom to Claire. Like, your mom reminds me of Claire Huxtable 100%. His woman being hard of hearing, right? His baby. My grandmother was hard of hearing. So the sign language, just what you go through dealing with someone, living with someone who's hard of hearing. Just all of those things really touch them. So my personal life is, especially as a black man, the Creed franchise is there's a lot of movies that has been authentically black. Like, okay, that's how a black person will respond to that. That's how, for years, I'm telling you, to be honest, not to make it racial, I grew up where it's just like, okay, we don't act like that. We don't talk like that. We don't use those words. Obviously, we didn't write that, okay? So to see these movies now where it's like, yeah, that's how we would respond to that. That's our relationship with our woman. That's our relationship with our children. That's our relationship with our brothers. And that's our background and how we grow up. Creed encompasses all of that. I want to say this at the very end. It may be the best Creed. It may be the best one. It may be the best one. And Jonathan Majors is a complete badass. And that character, I can relate to Adonis Creed. And that character, I know a guy or two that I grew up with that they just nailed. I mean, even that experience, the life, everything he went through in comparison with me, we growing up together. I mean, they really just nailed it. Let me know how you all feel in the comments below. Showbiz the Adult. That movie, I still have a headache. I still got a lump in my throat. I looked at my son and he was just like we were like, if you haven't seen it, it's really worth the watch. I'm out.